Hi, everyone, and welcome to the next episode in my Christmas series. I have a link to the playlist in the description box below if you missed any previous episodes. We're going to take some dollar store items and turn them into high-end decor for $5 or less. I hope you find tons of inspiration and enjoy today's video. We're starting off with some of Dollar Tree's skate ornaments. We'll remove the hanger, and then I'm using antique wax to go over just the skate itself. Make sure to get down in between all of the grooves of the snowflake. Now, I did try to remove the snowflake, but it's pretty delicate, so I feel like it's going to break if you try to take that off. Then I'm going to take a paper towel and remove the excess of the wax on there. And because the wax itself does not stick to the hot glue that was used to attach the snowflake, I'm going to touch that up with some truffle chalk paint to just help blend that in a little bit better. Now, you could use the truffle chalk paint to paint the entire skate, but I like the wood grain that the antique wax gives. You can see that wood grain, but if you just use the truffle, it's just going to make it a regular brown color. So once that dries, I'm going to take some white chalk paint and go over each one of the snowflakes just at the very top. I'm not worrying about the sides or the edges. And then I'm also going to go ahead and paint the top part of the skate, and that will take 2 coats. And I'm going to make sure to get all of the outside edging as well, where you can see that from the side. This part would also be really beautiful if you covered it with some of the faux fur. I'm going to paint the bottom part of each one of the skates, again making sure that I get inside of the grooves at the bottom as well as the bottom of the skate itself, just because you'll be able to see those. Now, while they're drying, we're going to take one of Dollar Tree's tag signs. This one measures 15 3/8 of an inch tall and 7 7/8 of an inch wide. We're going to flip it over and cover the back with some scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. Now, my piece is not large enough to cover the entire back, so I'm going to have to piece it together. So I cut the bottom portion, and then I'm just going to take that extra piece of paper and kind of try to line the design up so that I can attach those to the top. To hold it in place, I'm going to use some painter's tape, but I'm not going to press too hard because I don't want to rip my scrapbook paper. Then I can flip this over and trace the top portion so that I can cut that out. And I'm going to keep everything taped together until I glue everything down. So I'm going to use a glue stick, but you could also use some Mod Podge. And I'm going to attach the bottom portion first, and I'm making sure to get the glue stick on the edge of the paper as well to make sure everything stays in place. Then I can remove that painter's tape at the very bottom. Just be really careful not to tear your paper. And then I can attach this section at the very top and make sure I attach it to the sign as well as the scrapbook paper that's already on the sign. Then I'll be able to get that last little section, and I tried to blend it in as well as possible to make sure that you didn't see any of the seams. Then I'm going to take an end of a painter's brush to poke the holes back in so we can add our hanger later. And I am distressing the edges with antique wax just to bring the outline of the outside edges out. Then we can reattach our twine hanger, and I'm just going to double knot that in the back on each side and cut that excess off. Now, I do recommend that you cover the back with some craft paper, and that's going to give it a really beautiful finished look. To create a bow, I am using some dark burlap, some medium brown burlap, and some white burlap. So I have cut down 3 8-inch pieces of each, and I'm just going to alternate the colors until I have all of them stacked together. And then I'm going to take a piece of twine after I pinch that in the middle, and I'll double knot that in the back. Now leave your excess twine on there because you're going to need that to attach your skates. So when you're tying it, just make sure you pull it really, really tight in the middle, and then you can separate each one of your pieces. Now, when I placed mine on the top, I felt like I needed to add an extra piece of the dark brown, so I did cut that a little bit shorter and went ahead and tied that to the top of the bow. Then I'm going to place each piece of the excess twine on the skate, but I'm not going to tie it yet. I need to make sure everything lines up. So I'll place the bow on the sign, and I'm only going to tie it one time. I'm not knotting it yet because after I get my bow attached, I need to see if I need to adjust the length of each one of the strings. Once I know they're exactly where I want them to be, I can go ahead and add that second knot and cut the excess off. I think this sign turned out absolutely stunning. I love the colors in this, and I love the fact that not only can you keep it up at Christmas time, you can leave this up all winter long. I would love to know what you guys think of project number 1. For this project, we are using one of Dollar Tree's 7x7 picture frames. We're going to remove the picture itself so we can use that as a guide because we are using Dollar Tree's Christmas gift bags. These come in a set of 2 and they have some absolutely gorgeous images on it. I'm going to cut the front part off of one of the bags and then line it up because I know my photo frame is smaller than the actual picture itself. So once I have that lined up where I want my design, I'm going to cut that out and replace it back into the photo frame. Now this is absolutely gorgeous, but we are not done with this project yet. You can use one of these MDF pieces. You can find these at Dollar Tree, Family Dollar. I'm actually going to be using a piece of scrap wood that I already had on hand, and it measures 15 1/8 of an inch long, and it's about 2 3/8 of an inch wide. Mine was pretty dirty from sitting out in my shop, so I'm going to give it another coat of white paint, as well as I need to paint the ends white. Now once that dries, we're going to take our picture frame and we're going to add it right in the center, and I'm going to do this using some hot glue. Just hold it in place till your glue sets up, and it's already coming together and looking so beautiful. Now we're going to take some micro LED lights from Dollar Tree in the color Cool White, as well as 2 of their very beautiful bottle brush trees. I'm going to take the end of the light and go ahead and wrap it around the first tree. I'm not going to attach it with any glue or anything like that. And I did turn the lights on to make sure I could keep them all lined up in the front. When I get to the bottom, I'm just going to kind of bend that over so it'll go down the back of the bottom of the tree. And then I'm going to hold that behind the picture frame to make sure I have enough length, and then I can take that light and start at the top of the other tree and work my way down. That way I can add each one of the bottle brushes on each side, and the middle of the strand will go behind our picture. So once I know they are lined up where I want them to be, I can hot glue the trees down and then take that battery pack and rest it right behind our picture frame. Grab one of Dollar Tree's fall signs and remove the hanger as well as the staples. Use some sandpaper to go over it, and that will get rid of those holes where the staples were. And then I'm going to give this one coat of white chalk paint. I'm also going to be using some 1-gallon paint stir sticks. You can get this in a pack of 10 at Lowe's. I cut 2 of those down to 5 3/4 of an inch. After I sanded those, I gave those a coat of the white chalk paint. Then I'm going to measure about 1/4 of an inch off of each end so that I'll be able to attach these paint sticks right above my 1/4 of an inch mark. I'm going to attach that using some hot glue on both ends. Then I'm going to take some antique wax and a dry brush around each of those paint sticks as well as the center of the sign. So if you don't want yours to be distressed, you could just skip this part. I'm just lightly taking the brush and going over the center of the sign. Then I found these gorgeous ornaments from Dollar General for $1 a piece. They have this beautiful fabric on top. I'm going to cut the hanger as well as those beads off of the top, and then I'm going to line these up in the center. And once I have my placement ready, I can hot glue each one of these down, trying to keep the spacing the same between each letter. This project turned out absolutely gorgeous. This project, I am reusing a DIY that I have previously made, and I'll have a link to that in the cards as well as in the description box if you want to see how I created this. I'm going to remove the sign, and we're going to use this gorgeous ornament from Dollar Tree. It is a metal tag sign, and it is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to remove that tag, and then I'm going to use some burlap with some red trim ribbon to create a very simple tiny bow, and then I will dovetail each one of those ends to make sure that you'll be able to read the entire sign. Then we can hot glue that to cover up the hole and replace that back onto our archway. I'm going to keep that beautiful greenery that we created around the votive and just add in a few berry picks. And this project was so simple to update, but it is so gorgeous and gives you such a high-end look for very little money. If you would like to visit me on my other social media accounts, all those links are in the description box below. I would love for you to come on by and say hello. On our next project, we are using one of Dollar Tree's wall shelves. It measures 13.3 by 5.9, and we only need the board itself. We're also using a 5-gallon paint stir stick from Lowe's. You're going to cut 2 of these down to 5¼ inch. You just want to make sure it's the width of the boards itself on each end. We're going to hot glue those to cover up the holes and make it flush to the outside edge, and then go over the entire piece with some antique wax and then blend that in. So I did make sure to get the sides as well as the back. Then we're going to take some of Dollar Tree's wired garland ties. You'll need 2 of these and just twist the ends together. Then taking some of Dollar Tree's red pipberry garland, we're just going to twist this around the garland ties until we get to the very end. Then we'll take one of Dollar Tree's glass candle holders, and we're going to wrap the garland starting at the top and make one pass around, and then we can take that end piece and attach it to the garland tie itself. Then we can continue to wrap this around until we get to the bottom of the candle holder, and then you can attach that bottom piece to itself. Then I'm going to use 2 additional pieces of greenery. This came off of a bundle from Hobby Lobby, as well as one of Dollar Tree's pre-made buffalo check bows. They have the ties on the back, so I'm going to use that to attach the 2 pieces of greenery end to end. And you can glue this on your tray. I'm just going to set it there for right now and then set my candlestick right behind it. Now, Dollar Tree has these beautiful Christmas LED lanterns. I was lucky enough to find 2 white ones and 1 red one. They are gorgeous. I'm just going to place these on the tray. I'm not gluing them down because you want to be able to turn your lanterns on, and the button for that is on the bottom. This turns out absolutely stunning and so gorgeous when you light it up. I love the details in these beautiful lanterns. Let me know what you think. This would be a great centerpiece or something to set on your side table. For our final project, we are using this winter house scene from Dollar General for $3. It has some gorgeous trees and houses, and it's MDF with like a wood veneer on the top. We're going to use everything except for the base that it comes with. Now, some of the pieces have some jagged, rough edges where all of the pieces were cut, so I'm going to go in between all of those grooves with some sandpaper to make sure everything's nice and smooth. And I'll make sure to wipe everything down. I'm going to use a piece of scrap wood. Mine measures about 29 inches long. It's about 1¼ inches wide, but if you don't have any scrap wood, you can use some of these MDF pieces from Dollar Tree or Family Dollar, and you could just attach 2 of those end to end. I'm going to go over all of these with Waverly's Antique Wax and then blend them all in, especially making sure to get inside all of the openings so that everything has a nice consistent color. I'll do that for all of the houses as well as the trees. I'm also going to use that same wax on the scrap piece of wood, and I'll make sure to get all of the sides of that as well. So once everything has dried, I'm going to take the larger house and start in the center of my wood by attaching that using some hot glue. I'm putting it right in the center of not only the long piece, but also in the width of it. And I'm going to space these out and try to keep them all in a straight line. Then I'm going to take some of Dollar Tree's micro LED lights, and I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue just on the wire, not on the light itself, and attach these on the back side of the sign. I'm trying to make sure that I have a light underneath each of the windows, and if the light doesn't fall that way, I'll kind of bend the wire over until I can get it underneath the window and then place a little bit of hot glue. I'm going to do that all the way down the back of this sign, and when I get to the end, I'll just pull my battery pack over and it can rest behind the sign itself. Now, as it's lit up, it is absolutely gorgeous. This is such a beautiful high-end piece that sells online for a lot of money. And not only is it beautiful lit up, it is beautiful during the daytime. So if you guys have a favorite out of today's video, let me know in the comments section down below. I always love to know which one is your favorite. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me. And if you haven't subscribed already, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button right below this video. Please take care, and I will see you guys next time.